Neutral planets began to offer help to fleeing Union citizens. "We're not part of your war," they said. But even they were nervous because no one knew what Earth's final move would be. Some whispered. Earth had built a new kind of weapon, a device that could erase systems. Others believed Earth would take over the Union and rule it, but humans didn't send soldiers to occupy God, they sent silence. One by one, Union military fleets stopped moving, not because of orders, but because their captains refused to die for leaders. Who had caused this mess? They parked their ships in safe orbit and waited. Even the most loyal commanders now said the same thing. We're not fighting Deathworlders. Not anymore. Back on Earth, humanity watched quietly. They didn't cheer. They didn't celebrate. There were no parades. Just silence. Revenge was not a victory. It was a lesson. A message to the stars. We offered peace. You chose betrayal. Now you learn what fear truly is. The stars had changed. Where once the Galactic Union had ruled, now only fragments remained, and everywhere. From abandoned stations to drifting beacons, one word echoed. Run. And the burned remains of the Galactic Union. Silence was everywhere. The once busy skies were empty. Starports stood abandoned. Councils that once debated for hours had vanished without a sound. And across the galaxy, survivors whispered a new phrase, passed from ship to ship, planet to planet. Earth does not forgive. Those who had once mocked humanity were gone, their names erased, their systems reduced to floating debris. And still, Earth never spoke. No speeches, no broadcasts, no public statements, only wreckage, and a single word left behind, scorched into metal walls, etched into craters, written in glowing plasma. Run. On a dusty moon in Sector 9, a small Union outpost received a visitor. It wasn't a ship. It was a drone. Black, spherical, and silent. The outpost commander ordered it destroyed before they could fire. It projected a hologram of the Earth, a rotating blue planet, then a voice played. Calm, cold, in perfect translation for all species. We know every name that signed the betrayal order. You had a choice. You chose dishonor. This is not war. This is removal. Run. Then the drone exploded, harmlessly. Only a puff of smoke remained. The commander didn't. Sleep again. Even species who had been allies of Earth now walked in fear. Not because they were targets, but because they knew what humans were. Truly capable of humanity had not conquered. It had not colonized. It had not demanded payment. It had simply removed the threat. And in doing so, it had rewritten the laws of power in the galaxy. One historian, hiding in an old cargo freighter, began writing a book. Its title, When Kindness Was Misread, The Human Lesson. She wrote, "We saw Earth as strange, strong, yes, but hopeful. They reached out to us with open hands. We took their hand. Then we cut it off. And they came back, not with anger, but with precision, with silence, with judgment. Now the galaxy has changed, and those who remain teach their young a simple rule: never betray the Deathworlders." In a refugee station orbiting a dead star, a group of aliens gathered around an old monitor, a small child, barely old, enough to be pointed at the image of a human soldier walking through the wreckage of a city. The child whispered in fear. What did they want? No one answered, because the truth was too painful. Earth hadn't wanted control. Earth didn't seek to own systems, build empires, or gather slaves. They only wanted respect. And when they were denied it, when their trust was shattered, they didn't ask again. They responded with total silence and total fire. The remains of the Galactic Council sat in a ruined chamber, lit only by emergency lights. 5 members survived. None dared speak above a whisper. One of them broke down, shaking. We had peace. We had progress. Why did we ruin it? No one answered. Another muttered, maybe they were too strong for us. The oldest survivor, scarred and worn, looked up slowly. No, he said. We were too weak to understand what strength really was. Human ships no longer attacked. The strikes had ended. But fear remained more powerful than any weapon, because now every species understood something new. Earth didn't need to fire anymore. Its silence was enough. Just the possibility of human judgment could break a planet. Just the memory of a single word could shatter courage. That word echoed in space stations, in escape pods, in abandoned cities. Run, and then one day a new signal came from Earth. It was short, cold, but different. Retaliation complete. We will not speak again unless challenged. This galaxy is now corrected. The signal ended. Human ships vanished once more into the stars. Got no demands. No orders. Just silence. Peace returned, but not the peace the Union had known before. This was a peace born from fear. A quiet, careful peace. Every council that formed afterward remembered what had happened, and they built statues, not to heroes, but to warnings. At the entrance of the largest refugee world, a giant metal sculpture showed a human hand, open, extended in peace. Below it, a message. They offered friendship. We gave them betrayal. They replied with one word: run. Years passed. The stars still burned bright. Trade resumed across sectors. New alliances formed between the surviving species. But something had changed forever. There was no longer a galactic union. There was no longer a central council. There was only order, and order maintained not by rules, but by memory. Everyone remembered what happened when Earth was betrayed. And no one dared forget. On a floating city orbiting a quiet sun, a group of young alien cadets were trained in diplomacy. Their instructor, an old, soft-spoken alien with pale gray eyes, pointed to a screen showing the Earth. Never lie to them, he said. Never cheat them. Never mistake their silence for weakness. The students nodded, silent. If you ever meet a human in a dark corridor, offer your name. Offer peace. Offer respect. He paused, then added, and if you've wronged them, ... He tapped the screen once. Run. Earth had not joined any new council. That had not expanded its territory. It had not taken control of any planets. Instead, it had returned to silence. Its borders were closed. Its communications restricted. No ships entered without permission. But its fleet still existed, somewhere in the dark, waiting, watching. And the galaxy knew that if Earth moved again, it wouldn't ask questions. Some brave explorers still traveled near human space, hoping to learn more. Most returned with stories of strange, massive structures, silent stations floating in asteroid belts, guarded by weapons never seen before. Others never returned at all. And those who did always said the same thing. They didn't speak to us, but they saw us. And that was enough. One day, a signal was picked up from deep space. Not a threat, not a warning, just a message sent in every galactic language. A soft voice, human, speaking with calm certainty. Peace is possible, but trust is not free. We gave you our hand. You took it and tried to break it. Now we will remain apart until the stars forget. We are watching, not ruling, not threatening, just remembering. Then silence. A new generation of leaders took power across the stars. They didn't wear medals. They didn't speak of conquest. They spoke of caution. Their laws included one special rule taught in schools, printed in books, passed down like holy words. Humanity is not our enemy, but never let them become one. Back on Earth, life continued quietly. Children played in green fields under blue skies. Factories built ships, but not for war, for defense. Leaders walked among the people. There were no kings, no emperors, just guardians. They remembered the betrayal. They remembered the silence, and they promised never to be caught. Unprepared again, in a quiet room deep beneath Earth's surface, a large screen showed a map of the galaxy. Thousands of blinking dots lit up ships, bases, satellites. A general stood before it, arms crossed. Status? He asked. A voice answered calmly. Stable. No threats. No violations? The general nodded. He turned off the screen, and in the dark he whispered, let them keep their peace. We've made our point. The galaxy moved on. Worlds rebuilt. Trade resumed. Stars birthed new life. But Earth became a shadow, a legend. A word that meant more than that. Planet dot, it meant danger dot, it meant respect dot, it meant memory dot, and carved into the heart of every council chamber in every corner of the galaxy was a plaque, not to honor Earth's power, not to praise its strength, but to remind those who followed what betrayal brings. Dot it read. They gave peace, we gave betrayal. They said one word, run. The end, asterisk, regret echoes across the stars. The signs were everywhere now. The galaxy was breaking apart, trade was slower, conflicts were rising. Medical systems on dozens of worlds were failing without human tech. The council kept meeting, but each session felt more desperate. We underestimated them. One leader finally admitted, another whispered, no. We overused them. Across the stars, people began to speak more openly. They warned us, said a merchant on a trade world. They were patient, said a captain near the Orion path. We pushed too far, said a scientist whose labs relied on human power grids. The words circled through thousands of networks. And Earth stayed silent on a jungle world named Elra. Once protected by human soldiers, invaders returned. The Elran people had grown used to safety under Earth's watch. Now, they fled in terror as cities burned. Their leaders sent a message to Earth. Please, help us. Just one ship. One voice. But the reply never came. Elra burned in a cold station near the edge of known space. An old cargo worker named Tomas sat alone. He had worked with humans in his younger days. He watched the news feeds and shook his head. They didn't just walk away from politics, he said aloud. They walked away from us. His friend, a lizard-like engineer, asked, why? Tomas answered softly, because we made them feel like tools instead of friends. And now we see what that cost us. Even the pirates noticed the shift. They're really not coming back? One asked, another nodded. They could have stopped us 10 times already. But they're gone. The pirate captain laughed. Fools, the whole galaxy was built on their systems. Still, even he sounded nervous. Inside the council chambers, silence filled the room. Reports came in. Border colonies lost riots on core. World's refugees from fallen sectors, tech breakdowns across systems. One counselor finally slammed his hand on the table. Enough, we must go to Earth. In person, now. The others hesitated. No, said the Chancellor quietly. We had our chance. Now they decide. Back on Earth, a young engineer looked out at the stars. Her screen showed dozens of broken systems in the galaxy. One by one, all signs pointed to collapse. Her commander entered. They're falling. Apart. She nodded. They don't know how to survive without us. Should we help them? He paused, then added, they never said sorry. She didn't answer. She just looked at the stars again. One final message reached Earth, from a child on a mining world. It read, Dear humans, please come back. I miss feeling safe. The message was simple. Honest. It was the first message Earth saved. But still, Earth said nothing. Asterisk, they finally understood. Council sent a last emergency call to all major powers. We must form a united force. Pirates, warlords, and rogue empires are rising. The balance is breaking. But even united, they were weaker than before. They had always relied on human support systems. Now, with Earth gone, their unity meant little. Ships couldn't communicate. Across sectors, defense networks failed. Translation systems between species were buggy. Earth had once held everything together, but no one saw it until too late. On the planet Reska, a storm of fire poured down from orbit. The peaceful colony was under attack by raiders. The people screamed for help. Where is the Terran fleet? A voice cried, they left us. Someone else yelled. A mother hid her child in a shelter and whispered, the humans always came. Before? Not this time. Elsewhere, an old recording resurfaced across the network feeds. It showed a human commander, speaking to the council during a war 10 years ago. We are not your tools. We are not here to die for those who won't stand beside us. Treat us as equals, or one day we will stop answering your calls. Back then, the council had laughed. That video now replayed on 100 planets. The laughter was gone. On Earth, the people were watching, listening, recording everything. But still no reply. Inside a vast underground chamber. Earth's council met. The room was quiet. Leaders spoke softly. They finally understand, one said. Regret is everywhere now, said another. But they never once said they were wrong. Not truly. They still sent offers, but not apologies. A third voice added, they miss our strength, not our friendship. Everyone nodded. That was the truth. In the void of deep space. A small alien shuttle drifted toward Earth. Inside was Mail, the young ambassador who had once spoken kindly of humanity. He had come alone, uninvited, uncertain. He sent one message. I do not come to beg. I come to listen. If you still care, I will hear you. Earth's border defenses tracked him, scanned his ship, but did not fire. On the far side of the galaxy, 2 ancient species prepared for war. With Earth gone, they no longer feared consequences. The Deathworlders are silent now, said one warlord. The galaxy belongs to us again. But they were wrong. Earth was not sleeping. Earth was waiting. In hidden orbits. Terran fleets powered up. No banners, no declarations. Just silence and readiness. Earth had not abandoned the stars. They had just stepped back to see. Who noticed. Asterisk. The message Earth never sent in a dim room aboard the drifting shuttle. Mail waited. He was nervous. Earth hadn't spoken to anyone. In months. He didn't know if they would respond or destroy him. He sat by the comms panel, whispering, I don't need answers. I just want you to know that some of us did care. Outside, Earth's defense grid watched. Thousands of satellites and automated systems tracked his every move. Then, the lights inside his shuttle flickered. A soft voice came through the speaker. You're the first who came without asking for something. Mail froze. Why are you here? The voice asked. He swallowed hard and replied, to understand, to tell you that not all of us agreed with how you were treated, and that the galaxy is learning its lesson. There was silence. Long, heavy silence. Then the voice replied, that lesson came too late. Back in the core council, new threats were rising. A powerful alien alliance, the Kriven Pact, declared war on the border systems. They saw weakness. They saw a chance. The council sent pleas for aid to every planet. Humanity, if you're listening, one message said, we need you now more than ever. Please, we are sorry. But the apology came only after fear. No human answered. On Earth, deep in an underground vault, an archive was being compiled. It listed every insult, every betrayal, every decision where humanity was left out. The archive was not for war. It was for memory. Earth wanted to remember. They had saved the galaxy too many times without thanks. Now they watched as those same people screamed for help. The archive's title was simple, This is Why We Walked. Away, meanwhile, Mail was allowed to land. He stepped onto Earth's soil alone. No escort, no guards. Just eyes watching from unseen places. He walked through clean cities, quiet parks, and peaceful roads. He expected anger. He found calm. Eventually, a woman met him. She wore no uniform. Just simple clothes and a quiet face. You came here, she said. I did, Mail replied. Because I believe there's still a future with you. The woman didn't smile. She didn't frown either. She just said, you're one of very few who speak with respect. Most came with demands. You came with understanding. He bowed. His head, I didn't come to take, I came to give. Elsewhere in space, the Kriven fleets destroyed 3 more council colonies. The core, council panicked. We have nothing strong enough to stop them. One voice whispered, except the humans. Another asked, but why would they help now? No one answered. On a Terran space station orbiting the moon, fleets remained hidden, stealth mode, fully armed, waiting. Humanity wasn't afraid. They were preparing. They didn't speak out loud, but every ship's I repeated the same phrase in their silent systems. If they take us for granted again, we won't walk away. We'll end it. Asterisk. The silence was a warning the Kriven pact pushed. Deeper into Council space, they had powerful ships, brutal weapons, and no interest in peace. Colony after colony fell. Entire systems went dark. Refugees filled transport ships, fleeing toward the core. Still, the Council could do nothing. They had relied too long on Earth. Now, they were paying the price. In a Council emergency session. Fear filled the air. They'll reach the capital within a week. We're not ready. A quiet voice spoke in the middle of the argument. We were warned. It was the youngest delegate. She held up an old message Earth had once sent. You. Act as if our help is owed to you? It is not. We do not demand gratitude, but we expect respect. If not given, we will leave quietly. They had laughed at that once. Now, no one was laughing. On Earth. Mail sat in a quiet chamber with Terran officials. He had stayed longer than planned. He was no longer just an ambassador. He was now a witness. The galaxy is crumbling, he said. They don't need weapons. They need hope. The human beside him leaned forward. We gave them hope for 100 years. They used it, wasted it. They regret it now, Mail replied softly. The human stood. Regret isn't enough. They learned too late. Above Earth, Terran warships began moving, slowly, silently. Without orders from the galaxy. Without calls from the Council, they moved because Earth decided it was time. From a hidden command station, a single message was prepared. No threats. No. Speeches. Just one line. Do not mistake silence for weakness. It was sent to every major network across the stars. Billions read it. A few wept, most trembled, on the battlefield. The Kriven fleets attacked a planet near the Terran border. They thought Earth would not act. They were wrong. From nowhere, massive. Terran warships uncloaked. Not hundreds, thousands. Sleek. Cold. Silent. Each one painted jet black. No symbols. No flags. The lead Terran ship open comes. Leave this system, said the voice. This is your only warning. The Kriven laughed. Then fired. The battle didn't last long. The Kriven fleet was erased in 6 minutes. No survivors. No retreat. The stars lit with fire. And then went quiet again. Earth sent no follow-up message. Just silence. But the galaxy understood. Now, Earth had not walked away in surrender. It had walked away in mercy. Asterisk. When Earth spoke again, the galaxy held its breath. Every news channel, every broadcast station, every home across the stars replayed the same footage. Terran warships arriving, erasing the Kriven fleet, and vanishing just as quickly without a word. The message had been clear. Earth was still watching. Earth was still powerful, but it chose silence for as long as it was respected. In the core council hall. The members were silent for the first time in years. Gone were the mockeries. Gone were the proud speeches and blind confidence. The Chancellor stood before the assembly. His voice was quiet, different. We let pride blind us. We thought their silence meant defeat. But it was the only warning we ever received. He lowered his head. We lost their friendship, their trust. And now we know they didn't need us. We needed them. No one argued. On Earth, Mail prepared to leave. He stood near Shuttle, looking over the city one last time. The same human woman from before met him again. You spoke with honesty, she said. I only spoke what was true, he replied. But the galaxy needs more than words now. She nodded. You may tell them this, she said, handing him a single datapad. It will be Earth's only official statement. He looked at the pad and read the simple words. We do not seek revenge. We do not seek rule. We seek peace. But peace built on respect, not convenience. He closed the pad, quietly stunned. They'll listen now, he whispered. Then, perhaps, the woman replied. This time, they'll deserve it. Mail returned to the council. His arrival was met with silence. Everyone leaned in as he played the message on the central display. The room was still for a long time. Afterward, then, one by one, The delegates stood not to argue, not to plead, but to listen. The galaxy had lost Earth once. It would not make that mistake again. In the years that followed, things changed. The council restructured. Humanity never demanded control, but it was given a permanent voice. Every treaty passed now included. Earth's vote not because of fear, but because of earned respect. Human envoys returned. Terran patrols reopened. Some of the old routes. Aid resumed, not with demands, but by invitation. Earth didn't walk in to save them. Earth waited for them to grow. And across the stars. Stories. We're told. Of the time Earth walked away without a word. And the galaxy finally understood why. End of part 7. The final part, asterisk.